Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I have another very special guest. Her name is Tammy Washington. I met her through Shan for my previous interview, and she is also part of the Ebony Ladies in the DR. So welcome, Tammy. And before we get started to your life in the Dominican Republic, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from?
So I am from the United States. I am originally from a state called South Carolina, which is in the southern part of the country. But I actually lived in Los Angeles for a very long time, about 15 years. And before moving here to the DR, I actually lived in Atlanta, Georgia. So I've kind of been all over the U.S. It's been a great journey. And so this is my first international stay.
Oh, that is great. You have a very interesting story. So tell us about what did you do before moving to the Dominican Republic?
So for the last 10 years or so, I have been a motivational speaker and personal development coach. So I've done that one-on-one for individuals, business owners, and then also as a corporate trainer. So prior to coming here to the DR, I actually worked for a company teaching leadership, customer service. I have also taught marketing. So at the end of the day, what I always say is I help people to become whatever it is that they want to become. So I help people to ignite their passions, and I give them game plans for and strategies for success, really.
Oh, that is a very interesting and great. And how did you get started into that?
So years ago, I was very lost, didn't know what I was doing. I actually moved to Los Angeles to be an actress, believe it or not, after college. And I got to a point though where I was just like, aimless, just felt like I don't know what it is that I really want to do. And a friend of mine actually invited me out to my first personal development event. And it was like 5 days, and it was amazing. So I walked in there one person, and then 5 days later, I felt like I walked out a completely different person. Excuse me.
Wow.
And through that experience, I realized, like, my gosh, I wish everybody had this. I wish everybody in the world knew how to reset their thinking, reset their emotions, and empower themselves to move forward. And I had always loved speaking, like public speaking, as a kid, like, my mom had always put me in these speaking engagements and things like that. But I never really thought about it as a career. But once I really started learning about personal development and realizing, like, wow, I can really help people, that's how it kind of started. So I just said, I just want to teach other people what I know. And so after doing that for a few years, I had other people who would come to me and say, oh, well, can you help me do the same thing? And that's kind of where my business coaching came from. And then helping companies in their marketing and customer service and all that kind of stuff. So it was all based off of that personal development, business development, and I've just taken it and done different avenues with it.
I mean that is good, because sometimes you are even lost and you don't even know. And sometimes you be in this cycle, like, should I do this, should I do that? So that can help you to come to yourself and make a good decision of what you really want to do. And when did you decide to transform in this passion to a business?
It was pretty early on. So like I said, after I got into personal development and I felt like it had really changed my life. I had been a Christian for about, my gosh, over 10 years at that point. And I felt like at that moment in my life, everything that I had believed up until that point came together. Like, I didn't truly understand faith until I got into personal development. I didn't truly understand who I was and the power that I had, and I believe even to this day, to be able to come and live in a different country, all of that was based off of the things that I learned about really being able to get out of the systems that we have in life. Like, we're all born into these systems of who you're supposed to be, what you're able to achieve based off of what you look like or where you came from. Once I was able to break free out of all of that, it changed everything. And so pretty soon after going through those experiences and transforming my life, I was like, I got to teach other people how to do this. And so that's when my business was born.
What do you teach in your seminar when it comes to motivation that people should know?
So the first thing that I do in my seminars is I help people to get understanding on where they currently are and why they are in that space. So a lot of people will come to me when they feel like I'm kind of in a rut, like when I was younger, I had all these dreams and hopes for my life, and I've just kind of gotten a job, and it's the same thing. I go to work, I come home, but I'm not really happy. I don't feel fulfilled. I feel like I was born to do more, but I don't know what or how to activate that. The first step that I always help people to understand is, how did you get there in the first place? So everybody has triggers. We have things that drive us, so you may see where you may have a friend and you could say one little thing to that person, and they'll just kind of go off, or they'll react in a way that seems kind of crazy to you, but that's a trigger for them. And so we all have these triggers and paradigms and things that teach us and tell us what to do in certain situations. And those triggers are actually what keep us in patterns. So we end up living in patterns. So you'll see yourself dating the same type of person over and over again. Some people will get a new job because they hate their old one, and then pretty soon they'll start hating that job for the very same reasons. You'll hear people say, oh, well, I love what I do, but I hate my boss, but no matter what they do, every job they get, they end up somehow hating their boss. And so what you realize is that it's not really about the boss. It might be the way in which you're interacting with the boss. It might be the way that you're showing up in the world that is making people treat you the way that they're treating you. And that's why you're in this pattern. So we first just get clear on where you are and how you got there, and thinking about like your thinking and how you think about certain things. And then we move into, okay, so how do we break that down so that we can set you free, so that you can move into the space of having what it is that you really want to have.
That sounds very interesting. Okay, give the viewers 3 quick tips that they can improve on right now to help them with motivation.
With motivation. So, like I said, we tend to live in patterns. So the first thing that you can do that will help to reset your motivation and reset and re-energize you is just to break your pattern. If you find that you wake up at the same time every day and you do the same things every single morning, just switch it up a bit. Even taking a different route to work will re-energize you, because what you'll find is that most of us, we're basically almost sleepwalking, if you will. Like, you ever drove in a car to work and you don't remember the drive there? Like, your body just went into autopilot, because you're doing the same thing every day, where your body is like, I don't even need you to think about this, because I got this, because we're just doing the same thing. You'll realize that most people say the same things to themselves in their head over and over and over again. And repetition is key. So the more you say the same thing to your head, to yourself in your head, the more you'll think that way. So the first thing I'll say is just do something to change up your routine. Okay, if you normally go to the gym at night, go in the morning. If you normally go in the morning, skip that and do something else, just to switch it up, right? To get out of your patterns. The second thing is, I would say, change the things that you say to yourself. So if you find yourself saying, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Oh my God, you're so stupid. Why do you do that? Or I can't believe you're still with this guy. So saying those same things again, you have to change them to affirmation that are going to change the way that you view yourself and your situation. So even if you hate your job, you can wake up every morning and you can say, thank you, God, that I have an ability to create income. Thank you, God, that this is just a step on my journey, that this is not where I'm going to end up. This is just helping me to become the person that I need to be. Thank you, God, that more opportunities and more blessings are on the way. I just got to be in the right place and at the right time to receive them. So just changing up the way that you speak to yourself is the second thing. And then the third thing is create a roadmap. Visualize. I did this with somebody yesterday. Visualize, like, what would be my perfect day? What would be, if I could have my dream house? Just visualize it. Getting in the feeling of having what you want can truly reset you and help you to get back into motivation.
There are some really quick, powerful tips. How being a motivational speaker transition to the DR? It is a Spanish-speaking island, so how are you able to do public speaking from there?
So here's the thing. So that was a big question for me because I actually moved here for love. So it wasn't just like, oh, I want to move to the Dominican Republic. My boyfriend lives here. And so I said, okay, I want to be able to move here for love. And so I had to then think, okay, well, how am I going to continue to create income if I live in a world where nobody speaks the language that I speak? And so for me, I had to actually take that moment and reset and say, okay, so the pattern that you're in for creating income isn't going to work here. So you got to reset yourself and you've got to say, okay, well, what can I do to continue creating income? What can I do to continue empowering people to be their best selves and live their best lives? And so in that, I actually started learning how to trade in the Forex market. And so the Forex market is just the foreign exchange market. So, you know, when people come to the DR from America, you have to switch your money over, right? Mm-hmm. So there's an exchange rate between the US dollar and the Dominican peso. And so there are people who make money off of trading that exchange rate. And that's basically what I do now. So when I found that, I was looking for a couple of things. I was looking for something I could do anywhere in the world. I was looking for something I could do from my laptop or my smartphone so that I could have this beach lifestyle. And I was looking for something that I could also, once I got it, I could teach and empower other people to do the same thing. And so for me, I've become very passionate about trading in the foreign exchange market. And that's actually helped me to create income here. Now I have a residual income while I'm living here in the Dominican Republic. And I get to help the people here. Because as you know, tourism has hit the DR really hard in this last year. And so my thing is I want to be able to help people to be able to make money from their smartphones, from their laptop, where you don't have to worry about whether or not somebody else decides to go on vacation as to whether or not you can provide an income for your family. That's empowerment. That's helping people to change their lives. And so for me, that was that's what I had to do to be able to live my life here.
Okay, and are you able to do that now? I mean, you're doing that?
Yes, that's what I do now. Yes.
And most of your customers are Dominicans or U.S. customers?
So I have a lot of, most of them are from the U.S. because we can do it. We get online a lot of times and trade together. So most of the team that I have, they're in the U.S., but I do have some Dominicans who are just getting started and getting involved.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that you have written a few books. Tell us about them and a little insight of each of them.
So my first book was Nailed It, Be It, Do It, Achieve It. And that book was basically again, when I took my first event in personal development, my mind was blown. And I said, oh my gosh, I got to let more people know about this. And so I wanted to create a book that could help people get out of a rut. You know, so if you're feeling, I have this goal, I really want to do something, but I cannot do it. I wanted people to be able to have the opportunity to do that. And so in the way that I did that, I wrote it out exactly as if I was coaching somebody on how to get their biggest goal. So if you read it, you'll see that there are lines for you to fill in and write in, because it's not just about reading. It's about really sitting and thinking about, okay, so why am I where I am? And how do I get out of this situation? So I take you step by step how to get out of your rut and get into success. That was my first book. My second book was called Daily Dollars. And that was to help people who in their finances are looking for more ways to make money. Like I said, I do Forex, and so that's something that I can do from anywhere. But most people, the average person will tell you that they need about another $400 a month. Like I don't care how much money you make, everybody will say the same. If I just had like an extra $400 a month, everything will be great for me. And so I wanted to create a way, and it's just tips. It's tips for people to be able to create money for themselves, even if they already have like a full-time job.
Yeah, very interesting book. I have to check them out. Where can the viewers purchase those books?
Amazon. You can go on Amazon.
Okay, so everybody, yeah, this is right easy. In Amazon, everything is in Amazon.
Yes, from anywhere in the world, you can purchase my books.
Where is another website that people can know more information about you?
TammyWashington.com. So it's my name. So just TAMMY Washington, just like the state, .com.
And changing a little bit the subject, I also know that you are into investing. So what are some of the things that you invest in?
So I mainly do Forex, as I mentioned. And part of the reason why Forex was so appealing to me was because with Forex, you could take small amounts of money to do it. So a lot of people, like I've done real estate investing in the past, and oftentimes you have to have a lot of money or you have to put in a lot of work to get other people to allow you to use their properties and things like that. So for a first-time investor, it's kind of a hard thing to get into. Same thing with the US stock market. You have to have thousands of dollars really to kind of get started and get some momentum. However, with the Forex market, you can literally trade with small amounts of time, of money and time, really. So literally, you can do a 10-cent trade. So my first trade ever in the Forex market, I turned 10 cents into $1.10. And so I was like, wow, if I can turn 10 cents into $1.10, oh my gosh, if that had been $10, oh my goodness, that would have been over $100. And so,
And then how long did you do that? I mean, how long?
That was
how long it took?
About an hour and a half. About an hour and a half. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah. So, so for people who don't have thousands of dollars to get started in investing, it's the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, it's good. And one of the biggest obstacles of many people when they move abroad is how they are going to support themselves.
Yes.
Are these is one of the way that you support yourself living in the Dominican Republic?
Yes. This is the only way I'm supporting myself right now because I'm not doing any speaking engagements or seminars or retreats or anything right now. So right now, my whole focus is on investing and building my investment business.
Okay. So would you suggest the viewer to have a source of income prior to moving to the Dominican or moving abroad, not just Dominican Republic, or just saving again to get into a year and then just decide what they want to do?
Yes. So the best advice I could give anyone is prior to moving, you do want to make sure you have a nice savings account. So save as much as you can. Just start downsizing, cut out any accounts, anything that you don't use. If you're like, I have a gym membership, but I go once or twice a month, cut that out. You really want to get your savings up. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to focus on something that can bring you like a residual income. Okay. So with my business, not only do I make money from trading in the market, but I also make money from helping other people. So just sharing this information with others. And when I share with others, I get paid as well. So I created a residual income for myself. And that's the number one thing. So a residual income, for any of your viewers who don't know what it is, it's basically the ability to create money when you work once. You work once and then you create money over and over. So the same way that I have a book, I wrote that book once 6 years ago, and I still get a check from Amazon based every time somebody buys that book. So that's a residual income. So in the same way, when I bring people in and so that they can also learn how to do Forex, I get a residual income. So the 2 months before moving here, I was so stressed with closing out my work and just packing up everything and selling things and moving that I really didn't have time to get on and trade. I didn't. And so I didn't have to worry about anything because I had a check coming in every single month. So even if I didn't trade, I had a residual check coming in. And so when I got here in August and I wanted to spend time just getting to know the island, get to know my boyfriend better, meeting new people, I didn't really have to worry about money because every single Friday I had a check coming in. So you want to be smart with how you plan these things out, and a residual income is going to be the way to go.
Oh, yeah. After you get there, you don't have to be worried about, because then if you're stressed because you move into a new totally new country, and then you're gonna be stressing out about money. You're not gonna have a good time at all. And I know that you mentioned in one of your videos that you moved to Dominican Republic after meeting your current boyfriend.
Yes.
How did you two meet?
So we met on my birthday boat ride. So I came to the Dominican Republic 2 years ago now with with my sister and my cousin. And we came for my birthday, and just so randomly happened, like I said, okay, it's the actual day of my birthday, what are we gonna do? And we were gonna, look at excursions. And we were looking at a bunch of them, and then I was just like, well, it's my birthday, so let's do like the boat party, that'll be fun. And he just so happened to be the photographer on the boat. And so we met on the boat. He was taking pictures of everybody. I remember thinking like, oh, look, there's a photographer. And he took pictures of me, and then somewhere during the ride, he just kept talking to me. He kept talking to me. And then he said, I told him, I said, oh, I'm staying at the resort, but we don't like the club at the resort. It's awful. Like every day there's been nobody there. The music's bad. And he said, oh, I'll take me and my friends will take you and your friends to drink. And so that's kind of, okay, we'll do that. And so that was kind of our first hangout. And then from there, we kept in touch and fell in love. And then now, I now live here in the Dominican Republic.
And were you looking for a relationship when you went to Dominican Republic in that time?
No, not at all. I was actually at a place in my life where I was like, I'm kind of done with this whole like men thing for a while. Like I just need a break. I'm just gonna kind of hang out and just do me for a while. And that's when I met my boyfriend.
In what point of the relationship you decide to move to the Dominican Republic?
So we had been dating for, let's see, I will say we've been dating for probably about 6 months. And we decided like, okay, we want to be together, so somebody has to move. And I told him, I said, I speak English. I make my money from speaking. So you have to move here. Country. And so we tried. We went through the visa process twice, got denied twice. And so he actually said, I'm putting my foot down. You're going to have to move here. And I was like, oh my God. No, But we had to work through that because it was never in my plan. I always loved living by the beach. I've always wanted to live by the beach, but I never thought that I would live in another country to have this whole living by the beach experience. And so for me, I had to change my mindset because I had goals, I had things kind of laid out for what I thought was happening next in my life. And I realized though, if I wanted to be with this person who's like treated me better than any other person I've ever been with, then I might have to make some changes, And so that's when I kind of said, okay, all right, I'm going to test it out. I'm going to move to the Dominican Republic.
Okay. And did you ever have plans to move out of the US, or did it just happen after that?
Yeah, no, yeah. So here's the thing. I love traveling. I love seeing different places, different cultures, but I never thought I would live someplace else. I just thought, okay, yeah, I'm going to travel and see, different areas, but I never thought that I would live outside of the country.
Okay. Was there anything here in the US that make you feel like that you could have a better life in another country?
Yeah. So during that time when my boyfriend and I were kind of going back and forth with that discussion about, well, who's going to move, and he was kind of giving me all the benefits, he was the one that kind of really brought it to my attention. He's like, everything that you've ever said that you wanted, you can have it here in the Dominican Republic, because I expressed to him before that, oh, I would love to live by the beach one day, but I thought I meant like California or Florida,
By the beach, we're here.
And I said, and he was like, but you said you want to have a house on the beach, you want to be able to travel, all of these things. And the Dominican Republic has all of those things. Like it's a beautiful country, and you really have to look at what you can have here. And so for me, I think that's when I said, wow, okay, because I could travel to do speaking engagements. I could, find, make income from anywhere that I am in the world. and I could have this beach lifestyle as well for a way cheaper price.
Well, that's for
than
sure.
the U.S.
Like here, Florida. I know it's way cheaper over there than here.
Way cheaper.
And what type of research did you do about the island before that make you comfortable to move over there?
Well, I had been here 5 times. So when I moved here, because of course we were dating, so I had kind of flown back and forth every couple months to see him. So I'd seen different parts of the island. I live in Punta Cana, but I'd gone to Barona. I've been to Santo Domingo. So I'd kind of seen different parts of the island, and I did, like, there's a lot of like expat groups on Facebook. So I'd looked into some of those things. And then I would just Google, I would Google just to see like what other people were saying about the country, like people who had moved there. YouTube was definitely my friend. Like I watched so many videos about people, renting apartments and how did you do the process and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it was just, I just went online, and I would just type in like moving to the Dominican Republic, and even like I didn't realize like I was stressed out about the visa process, about getting my first visa. And it was the online group that said, you don't have to go through all that. like, just go. They're not gonna, like, no, you just pay a fee to get out of the country when you're ready to leave. And so even that was so helpful because, like, I kept calling the embassy, the Dominican embassy in Washington, D.C., and I never got any return calls. I never got any return emails. And so I was, like, freaking out, like, how am I going to do this? So those expat communities were very, very helpful in saying, no, calm down. It's going to be okay. And then I talked to Dominicans. I also spoke to some Dominicans who live in America, and they definitely kind of reassured me, told me what to look out for, and things like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Good. Was it easy for you to leave your family, job, friends, etc.?
No.
To go to there?
Not at all. Not at all. Like I said, it was totally for him. Like I tell him all the time, I'm here for you. That's the only reason I'm here. So it was very difficult. Like I loved the work that I was doing with the company that I worked for. I loved it. I was doing leadership trainings and customer service trainings, and I love just getting in and helping people unleash, who they really are. And so for me, and it was, I was making great salary, had a great place to live in Atlanta, had friends there, like I had a routine, and just saying like, okay, I'm gonna up and leave everything off of something and not knowing if it was gonna work out or not was very scary. It was very, very scary, but I've always been somebody who stepped up to a challenge, so I just kind of said, okay, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be kind of hard to leave everything for a new place, a new everything.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What is a noticeable difference between an American and Dominican man, in your opinion?
Gosh, in my opinion, I just feel like Dominican men are just different. And again, I always say, I don't know if it's just my guy, because I can't speak for all Dominican men, but I can speak for my guy. And what I'll say is that he has just, like, the way in which they treat women is just, it's beautiful. Like, they're just helpful. Like, they go over and beyond. I've never felt like disrespected in any way. I've never felt unsafe, if you will. It's just different. And that's not to say that American men are like these ridiculous people or anything like that, because I've dated amazing American men as well. But it's just something different about this culture and the way in which the men are here that's really, really beautiful. So I'm always telling people, I'm like, listen, if you got an opportunity to date a Dominican man, go for it. Go for it. Like, they're great. They're amazing men.
Yeah, they are very sweet.
Yeah.
And for the record, you live in Punta Cana, right?
I do. I live in Punta Cana.
And what made you decide to live in Punta Cana? Why you choose Punta Cana?
Well, number one, that's where he was. So he lives in this area.
Oh.
And then number two, and I'll say this to anybody who is moving and your Spanish isn't where it needs to be. This area is, in my opinion, the best area to move to. Now, I haven't been all over the island. I haven't been to like Sosua, but for me, all the places that I've been, this is the place where I've seen the most English-speaking people or Dominicans who understand English. So if I can't express myself in Spanish, usually I can say it in English and they kind of know what I'm saying, or they can find somebody and go, hold on, come here, she speaks English. So I think it's a great transition area.
Or just to, yeah, just
transition area. So, and then once you get up on your Spanish, you can move and live anywhere in the island. But if I lived anywhere else, I don't think I'd be able to make it. I don't think so.
Okay, how is your Spanish level? Are you good as poquito? Okay, so describe your first month living in the Dominican Republic. It was like, what in the world I'm doing here? Or it was, oh, I'm in paradise. How was that?
I think the first week you're just like, I'm in paradise. Oh my gosh, and I live here now. So.
And then the second week, hey.
Yeah, like you're going to the beach every day. You're going to the pool every day. I definitely, for the first month, was in the pool every day. Not just because I could, but also because it's so hot. That's the other thing. I moved here in August, so it was so hot. I had to put the air on. It's like, I gotta go get in the pool. So the first month, I gave myself the first month to just relax, enjoy my boyfriend. I actually went to some expat events. Somebody that I had met online actually had an event for Americans who live in the DR. And so that's how I made friends. So I went to that party like the first week. And so everybody that I now consider a friend or that I talk to and hang out with, I met them at that party. So it was just about getting acclimated to the area, trying to make friends, and then just also relaxing, because the move, like when you're moving out of the country, it's very stressful. It's very stressful. And when I say like I was stressed out, like moving up until the point of going to the airport, it was crazy. So being able to come and just say like for like 4 weeks, I'm just going to relax, I'm just gonna enjoy, and I would go visit different restaurants, and I was in total tourist mode, I will say. And then the second month I was like, okay, now you live here. So now we're not going out to lunch every day at a restaurant. Now you're gonna cook, you're gonna live here. But yeah, I gave myself the first month to just be a tourist.
Okay, but that didn't hit to you, or hasn't hit to you saying, oh, what I'm doing here, what did I do, why did I move here?
Yeah, you definitely have that in the back of your mind of like, what, like I remember being in the pool one day, and I remember just feeling this anxiety, and I'm like, what, like I'm in the pool, why is my heart beating fast, why do I feel anxious? And I realized that my body was just like feeling like we're supposed to be doing something. And I thought to myself, well, what would I be normally doing? And it was a Thursday. And I was like, wow, today's a Thursday. I would normally be teaching a leadership class in the afternoon. So that morning I'd be getting everything prepared. I'd be practicing. I'd be like, on go, go, go mode. And here I am with nothing to do. So yeah, it's a mental transition. Like I had to like, oh my gosh, like, wow, okay, relax. Relax. But yeah, I've definitely had those moments of like, what am I doing? Even now, sometimes I'm like, I live in a different country. Like, it's hard to remember, that, like, yeah, like, especially because I tend to watch a lot of American TV at home. And so sometimes it's not until I go out that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not in the US.
That's good. I mean, that's good to make you feel that you have to remember. I mean, it's not totally that you are out and say, oh my God, I miss home so much. And when Dominican Republic was getting all the social media attention about the deaths of the tourists and American, and many people were saying the Dominican hate, they are racist and hate Black people. How do you feel as a Black woman living in the Dominican Republic? How do you feel? How was your experience dealing with Dominican?
So I will say this: I have never had the experiences that people talk about. So the first time that I was coming on that birthday vacation, I actually had people, like you said, who before I went, they're just like, oh no, don't choose the Dominican Republic. Don't go there. They don't like black people there, blah, blah, blah. But I'd gone to all these other islands. I'd gone to Jamaica, I'd gone to Bahamas, and I was like, no, I want to go someplace that I'd never been before. I've been to Cancun, all these islands. And I said, I really want to go to the Caribbean, and I want to go someplace I've never been before. And so I just kind of put it in the back of my head, and I just kind of made the decision. I was like, I'm just gonna have a great time regardless of what happens, And I came here and I had the best time. I did not feel any of that stuff that they were talking about. And then on my trips coming back, again, I've never had any of those experiences, but it wasn't in the back of my mind, because even with my boyfriend, I've had sit-down conversations with him, and I've said, so what is this thing? Like what's the real deal here? Because I don't want to be a big part of anything where they're treating people bad, especially when we're all black. Like I don't get it. And he broke some things down to me that just made things very clear for me. He said, I said, they always say that you guys don't like the Haitians and you treat them really badly and stuff like that. And he was like, well, first of all, he's like, do you hate Mexicans? And I said, no. Why would you ask me that? He said, because your president does. You guys are putting Mexicans in cages. And when he said that, that's when it all clicked to me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he said, yeah, so just because our government creates laws about immigration, that has nothing to do with the way that people view each other here. He was like, most of my friends are hate, so for me, I was just like, wow. So in the same way that I don't necessarily agree with everything that our country does with its neighboring, with the neighboring countries, I don't agree with it. But that doesn't mean, so if somebody said, oh, well, you hate Mexicans, that would be a false statement. As much as I hate what they're doing to people who are Mexican or Latino descent, I hate that. And so to put that on Dominicans is essentially doing the same thing, as if somebody said, well, you're American, so you must hate Mexicans, right? And so when he put that into those types of terms, I'm like, oh, got it. I get it now. I get what you're saying. And so, yeah, so I've just never experienced that. I mean, the closest thing that I've experienced to it is going to the cities that are closer to Haiti. You're fine going, but on the way coming back, you do have a lot of security checkpoints. And usually I'm going to get carded because I have darker skin. But even that, I'm not offended by it, because I'm like, they're trying to make sure that I'm not an illegal immigrant. That's their job. Every country makes sure that they don't have illegal immigrants coming in. And if you look like you're an illegal immigrant, it's going to happen, So I show them my passport and everything is good. So, yeah, it makes me very sad that the Dominican Republic has that stigma, and that so many people spread that message. And especially because most of the people who spread that message have never even been here. So I make it my mission. Like, I do a lot of Facebook Lives. I do things where I constantly am like, hey guys, listen, this is what it's really like living here. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the stigma. Nobody's poisoning Americans. They don't hate Americans. They love Americans. And I will say this, for anybody who has been afraid to come, now is the best time to come, because everybody is on alert, if you will. They're trying to make sure if you're American, you have the best time ever. They don't want anything to go wrong because it has such bad publicity. So I tell you right now, you're going to get the best travel deals. You're going to get treated like royalty. Come to the Dominican Republic. Yeah, so it's not, guys, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the things that you've heard.
Okay, and then thank you for that comment, because that's something that I've been saying too. I mean, we really don't hate Haitian. That is not something that we just born and that we born hating Haitian people. That's something that is political and is historical too, because there's a lot of things that happened back in our history. There is something that just happened that way. And do you miss anything back from home, from the U.S.?
Oh, so many things. So many things. One thing I have learned about the U.S. is that being here now, the reason why the U.S. is such a technological force to reckon with, if you will, is because they make life just easy. you don't realize I didn't realize how much I use different apps for different things. You know, oh, I want a car, let me call it Uber, boom. You just at the press of a button. Whereas here, I tell people a lot of times, this is almost in some ways like stepping back in time, which is a beautiful thing in the sense of how people treat each other. It's a beautiful thing. You go to a gas station, they're gonna pump your gas for you. That's what they used to do in America back in the 50s, right? Now in America, you
pump your own.
Pump your own gas. So I like pulling up and they're gonna pump the gas for you. I like that they're gonna bag you, get groceries. I like that there's so many things that are full service. However, I miss the ease of things in America because my Spanish is not where it needs to be. So think about it. If my boyfriend is not with me, I can't order food. I can't call and order for a pizza unless just by chance they have somebody there
speaking
that I can speak to. So usually if I do, even that takes like 30 minutes because they don't fully understand what I'm trying to say. They're speaking Spanglish, you know. I think that's the hard part, is just the access and ease of things. And then I miss, American, there's some things that you miss from Chick-fil-A. You know, I could go for some Chick-fil-A right now. Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Can we get some Ben and Jerry's ice cream in the Dominican Republic? You know, like,
oh my God, they do have some good ice cream.
So I'll say it's more of like the food, like, certain things that you're like
convenience.
I could really go for that right now, but it's not here. I'll say too, in the Dominican Republic, I tend to find that American food doesn't taste as good here. So I have still yet to find a great hamburger. Like, still yet, I found one place that I like, but I still have never been like, oh my gosh, this is such a great cheeseburger or hamburger, same thing with like wings and pizza. So you miss American food a lot, I will say. And I don't have a car here. So for me, that makes my life a lot more difficult because I'm used to being that grower. I'm used to just getting up and going. And so here, I take public transportation, which is really nice and all that kind of stuff, but it's a lot of waiting. So I think those are kind of the big things.
Yeah, but I know what you mean with all that. And then everything over there is also slow. That you need to have your patience.
Yes.
For everything going up there. What was that?
Caribbean time.
Yes, Caribbean time. There, you just have to wait. And if things operate differently in the Dominican Republic, what would be one thing that if you could change and say that would make my life smoother, easier? What would that be?
If I could change one thing about the Dominican Republic that would make my life smoother and easier, yeah, I would say the apps, like Uber, or just how like on a lot of apps in America you can order food from an app, where I wouldn't have to speak Spanish to somebody. I can just place my order in and it's just sent to them. Like, you have to be able to call, again, I tell people it's like stepping back in time sometimes. So I'll say the technology type stuff. There are a lot of places that just don't accept like cards. Like, it's a cash.
Yes.
Anyway, so I'm constantly having to go get cash.
You need to have cash in a lot of places.
An American. So things like that, I'll say.
Yes. Yeah, but there is a lot of places they still don't take debit credit card. You have to have a cash.
Like, I pay my rent in cash. What?
Yes, here they don't take cash. They say no. Here is no cash at all. They don't want to deal with that.
In the drug dealer, why are you paying in cash? Here, go get you some cash and come back.
Okay. And when people think about moving abroad, they tend to believe that when they arrive, they will be the only foreign, which is typically not true. How quickly did you find out that other expats were living there, especially particular Americans?
Well, for me, it was pretty early on, and nothing out of my own doing. Out like some things are just God, you know. Um, for me, I actually posted. There was a post in a travel group. It was like a Black travel group, and they said, "Hey, how many of you? I know you guys love traveling out of the country, but how many of you have ever lived out of the country?" And I posted on there. I just said, "Hey, I'm moving to Punta Cana next month." And there was a girl in that group who saw that post, and she posted and said, "Hey, I live in Punta Cana. We should connect." And then we connected on Facebook, you know, so social media, man. We connected, and she was kind of the first person I met out here. And like I said, she was actually the person that organized that expat meetup. Like we all had dinner together, and that's how I made friends here. And I would say, yeah, if you're going to be moving to another community, definitely go on Facebook. Facebook is great for that. And there, I guarantee you, there's an American group for that country. And I would go ahead and connect with people that way before you even go. So that way, when you get there, you kind of feel like you have some friends there that you can reach out to.
Okay. See, I mean, I know, like, I moved back to Dominican Republic in 2015, and I didn't know there was such a big community of expat people living over there. I mean, I started noticing that after I came back. And I didn't even know. I mean, a lot of people that are even thinking, or they think that they want to move somewhere else, but sometimes they don't know there is some other people that they can meet and just exchange information.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, I'm eyes open now. And would you feel more comfortable in the DR than US in any kind of way?
More comfortable. I mean, I think with the language barrier, I probably feel more comfortable in the U.S. But I think, yeah, I mean, I think in a few years, I've only been here for 3 months at this point, but I have friends who've been here for years, and they're like, "Oh yeah, now I feel like this is home." But that's the same way. I think even if you move to a different state in the U.S. Um, once you've been there for a while, that starts to feel like home, and you feel more comfortable there than you do where you actually grew up, you know? So I think it just takes time, and I can definitely see that happening in the future. But for right now, I would say I probably feel more comfortable in the US just because I don't have to think before I speak. I don't have to worry about, okay, do I even know how to say that in Spanish? But I'll definitely say this. I'll say this. Like for instance, I went to Macau Beach yesterday, and on the way back, and we took the bus there. So we took like 3 different buses, right? And on the way back, it was dark. It was night, you know, but we still had to take like the buses and that kind of thing. But we were fine. Like we didn't feel scared. We didn't feel nervous or anything. And I will say this, if it was dark, if it was at night in the US and I had to like take the bus, I would be extremely afraid. I would probably call a friend or something just so that I had some, you know, like it was like, but we were fine. And I think that when things like that occur, that's when you realize that that's what safety feels like, you know, that you're not even concerned that anything could happen to you. And I don't even speak the language. I had a friend there who spoke the language with me, so it might have been different if it were just me. But I felt in no way, shape, or form any type of fear of like, oh, somebody's gonna hurt me or somebody's gonna try to rob me or anything like that. Whereas in the U.S., I definitely would have felt that way. Definitely, I would have felt that way.
And did you have US?
I'm sorry.
Did you have any plans to move back to the US right now?
So right now I'm in the period of trying to figure that out, you know. And part of that for me is the relationship part of it. So, you know, we're in a place where we're like, yeah, this is great. I love you, you love me. All right, so what are we gonna do next kind of thing? And so, I mean, I think ideally what we would love to do is kind of go back and forth, like what a lot of Americans do here. There are a lot of people who will come for a couple months and then they're in the US for a couple months. And we would love to do that because there are things that I do miss. Like even right now, I mean, it's November and I'm like, it's supposed to be a little chilly outside. I shouldn't be wearing this in November. You know, like I'm like, I could use some cold weather right now. I like, even if it's not freezing, I do like to have a sweater on it.
To feel like it's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to be hot all the time. So for me, a lot of those things are coming into play when it comes to making that decision. But yeah, definitely. I think, could I see myself moving back to the US? Absolutely. Absolutely. Could I see myself staying here? Yeah. So I'm open either way.
Yeah, I understand. I'm Dominican, but that's the same thing that I want to do. I want like Spain, even though if I have my home base over there, but want to come back here, spend a few months, and then go back over there. It's just kind of to be able to do that. It just feels great to be part of both worlds. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And one last question: how can people contact you, and if they are interested in your service?
So I am definitely on social media. My Facebook is Tammy Washington fan page. My Instagram is Tammy Washington Speaks. So you can find me on social media, or the easiest thing is you can actually shoot me an email, tammy@tammywashington.com. So if you had a question about anything that I talked about today, yeah, I'll be happy to answer your email, answer any questions that you might have about moving and creating residual income for yourself. Absolutely.
Okay. So is there anything else that you would like to add to this interview?
No, I mean, this has been a great conversation, and I just want to say, like, if there's anybody out there and you are considering doing it, do it. Even if you just take a month off and decide, hey, I want to go live in another country for a month, it is so worth it to spend time in another culture, to see how other people live, to just see who you are in a different country, because you change, you know. That was part of my journey, is figuring out, well, who am I here, you know? And just seeing that, like, wow, I can actually live in a completely different culture, and and you're going to see a different side of yourself. So that's my advice to anybody watching this. Do it. Just try it. You can always go back.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. You can just try and see if it's worth it, just to see how you feel. That's great. So thank you very much, Tammy, for this interview. And guys, that is all what I have today. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.